Hey everyone, what's going on? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to lift your Hyundai Sonata. So you're not going to want to miss it. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is position your jack at a 45-degree angle to the car and slide it in. Also, if your jack doesn't fit under the car, you can use a piece of wood to sit the car on to get a little extra height. Alright, so this is where you want to place your wood on the car. There's a beam that runs along the car and you can see it right there. That's where the wood goes and that's the beam. So you want your wood to line up with that beam. And you can position your wood on the jack before you slide it under the car, just so that it lines up and you don't have to reach under the car. Now take your jack stand and go ahead and position it under the support beam, I guess you could say, the thinner metal on the car. Also, you're not gonna lift it this high in the very beginning. You're gonna gradually lift the car. But once you do have your jack stand in place, go ahead and lower your car slowly. And then after that, you can go to the other side and lift the car up a little bit higher. And you're just going to kind of go back and forth a few times. So I'm going to illustrate that more in detail for you guys so that you can just understand the process a little bit easier. What's going on, everybody? So I wanted to dive deeper into lifting the car, lifting the Hyundai Sonata, because, you know, it can be a little tricky. So this is kind of pretty much what I want to explain is that let's say that this is the car and you have the driver's side, passenger side, right? So you want to lift the car a little bit on each side at a time, right? Until you reach the desired height or until you're maxed out, right? You don't want to do anything like this where you lift it all the way maxed out on this side and then you come all the way up and try to, even it out like that. You don't want to do that just because it'll just be like too much load on one side. I haven't found a center jack point on the Hyundai Sonata, the 2011 YF. If you know where a center jack point is, definitely leave a comment below. I'd love to know where it is. This is the best method that I've come up with. So, pretty much just, lift it a little bit at a time. It does take a little bit longer, but hey, that's why you're doing the DIY, right? It's therapy. You're bonding with friends. Maybe you're bonding with your child. You're just having a good time. It's a good weekend, a good day, so you're enjoying the time. You got to look at it like that. You're enjoying the time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then let's see. Also, if you have a jack, like let's say you have, 4 jacks, but like one set is just off brand. And so it's not as high as the other. Then you can use a wooden shim like this or a wooden spacer and you can just sit the jack on top of it like that so that you can offset it. So then that way it's more even. And just make sure that you have enough space around the edges for your jack stand to sit on. You don't want it sitting on like the edge and then have it tip over. So make sure there's space all around for it. And so like if you're changing the oil or if you're doing the transmission or something like that, you'll see there's some people where they'll take a level and they'll put it on the transmission, but just having a level car is okay. That's the most important thing, just having a level car. Some transmissions are, they're designed a little bit off, like at an angle maybe. And so if you try to like balance it from the transmission, then it could just not make the car level. And you want to have a level car more importantly than having a transmission that's level. So yeah. In order to achieve that, you can use wooden spacers if you need to. And going back to the Hyundai Sonata, when it comes to the rear, then you don't have to worry about using this method. This method is only for the front for just kind of going back and forth. And you want to make sure you do at least like I would say even like a 3-step process, so like don't like kind of get, in a rush and go, okay, 1, 2, and then like you're done. Just kind of really break it down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. just so that you ensure that the car just kind of gets lifted safely. And then for the rear, you can lift it in the center. So right under the trunk, there's a reinforced kind of plate, and it's before, or I guess you could say in front of the bolt. There'll be a little bolt, and it's in front of that. You'll take a piece of wood to kind of distribute the weight, and you'll just lift the trunk from there. And then you can take both jack stands and just slide them in, and then you're good to go, and you can lower the car. Also, going back to the front, the center beam that runs along both sides of the car, that's the best place that I've found to lift the car, because you're going to want to come in from an angle so that you can fit the jack stand in. But if you know a better place to lift the car where you can still get the jack stand in at an angle maybe, let me know in the comments below. Love to hear what you have to say. So I think that covers everything. I know we're still lifting the car and you want to get back to it. So let's get back to lifting the car. All right. All right, so now we're going to lift the car from the rear. And the cool thing about that is we can do it from the center instead of going back and forth. So we're going to use this point right here in front of the bolt. It's got a little reinforcement there. So if we use our hydraulic jack with a piece of wood, then that'll distribute the weight pretty evenly, and we can lift the car without sinking in the trunk. So what we're going to do, here's a side view of that, where we're going to use our wood and our jack. So this is what it's going to look like. You know, you're going to just place your jack with the wood there, and then we're just going to start lifting. So as you can see, when the wood makes contact with the trunk, it doesn't sink in or anything like that. So this is the best spot that I've come up with for is lifting the car. If you have a better location, please comment below and let me know. But this is the best place that I found, and it seems to work great, so I'm using it. So yeah, as you can see, the car is raised and everything's great. So once the car is up in the air, you can go ahead and put both jacks on the side of the car the same way you did for the front. So you're going to look for that thin piece of metal on the side, and then go ahead and place your jacks there. All right, so the main important thing when we have our car lifted is that it's level. So just take a tape measure and measure from both points, the front and the rear, and just make sure they're the same height, or at least close. All right, everyone, so this concludes our video on how to lift the Hyundai Sonata. If you like this video, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.